leave the stove on?
Hi, welcome to another episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. I am one of your hosts and master of ceremony, Tanner Richard Kraft, and with me I have...
Go fuck yourself.
Hi, I'm Milos Forman, Academy Award-winning director of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Amadeus. Boy, I hope that one of my former students from Columbia University isn't addicted to making studio movies about famous characters getting old and grumpy. That sure would be a strange trend. Thank you for having me.
I'm drinking to remember.
And today, assuming everything goes well, is Friday, July 26th, which is the release date of the newest Marvel Studios movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. And because a movie celebrating two of the biggest Marvel characters of all time is coming out, where they're finally teaming up, we're doing another double feature episode in which we are going to target two specific movies. We're going to be targeting 2013's The Wolverine, starring Hugh Jackman, and then we're going to be targeting 2016's Deadpool, starring Ryan Reynolds. Why pick these two movies? I didn't want to do Origins, because that movie sucks.
I would have vetoed that big time.
But
I didn't want to do Logan. I didn't want to do Logan, because that would deserve its own episode.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, between Deadpool and Deadpool 2, it made more sense to pick the first one.
Yeah, I think there's enough into to talk about, but we can do that some other time.
I also personally like the first one of those movies more, but we'll get into that later, because first things first, the warm-up question is barely a warm-up question. It's actually a very loaded big question, which is essentially, what's your history with these characters? And to tie it all up, which one is your personal favorite between the two? Joe, we're going to start with you.
So, X-Men. I've very briefly mentioned in like a couple of previous episodes. I am a diehard X-Men fan. I've always loved the X-Men. I've loved them since I was a kid. Like I always said, it's like there were like four like major superheroes for me growing up. It was Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and the X-Men, even though they are technically a group. I've always loved the X-Men. I've seen almost every movie in that franchise in theaters. I was way too young for the first two, and we rightfully skipped out on Origins, and I rightfully skipped out on Dark Phoenix. But not New Mutants. I actually kind of like that movie. Yeah, hot take. I don't care.
Oh yeah, that movie exists.
Yeah, it exists. So anyway.
It's got Buffy footage.
It does. Anyway, back to the X-Men. And specifically the character of Wolverine. That character, he's been with me for like ever. I've watched him as Hugh Jackman since I was like 4 years old when the original one came out. Always thought he was the coolest guy. The older that I got, the more he got cool. Especially because the older I got, the more I would kind of dig into his more violent stuff. And a lot of his more violent stuff is really fucking cool. But you want to know what's also really fucking cool? Especially when you get to where I am currently at like 28. And you're a little bit more wiser than the dumb teenager that just wants violence. Wolverine's kind of a jokester. That man is cracking... Like I think he's like more the comic relief in the X-Men comics than most of the characters in the X-Men. Like, he's cracking quips nonstop. He is a very funny character. A very violent character, but a very funny one, too. I've always loved Hugh Jackman's portrayal of the character. The one thing that I love that both Deadpool and Wolverine as characters have, and it's a theme with both of those characters that I can strongly relate to, is that they're both fundamentally flawed characters. They've done bad things in their past, and they feel like that they should not be forgiven, but they try anyway. They try to be heroes. They try to do the right thing. One definitely fucks up more than the other, but in the end, tries to find redemption in himself, in themselves, technically. And that's definitely something, the older I get, the more I can kind of relate to. Deadpool, I was introduced to, unfortunately, through X-Men Origins Wolverine, which, if you're a Deadpool fan, that is the absolute worst way to be introduced to that character.
Come on, man.
Listen. Deadpool was an obscure character that I did not know about when I was 13 when that movie came out. To find out later that he was a much cooler character. Specifically by the time I entered high school, the Daniel Way run was in its peak. The video game had come out, and everyone kind of had Deadpool fever. Deadpool the video game, also not the best adaptation of Deadpool. But it is a fun game. I will say that.
Yes,
Deadpool's a very fun character. I love that character to death. That character essentially is one of the things that helps me get through a really depressive spell in my life, specifically post near suicide attempts. This is the one thing I don't really talk about is like how Deadpool kind of helped me through that dark period, because if you read any Deadpool comics, you know that man is he's fighting a lot of pain through humor, because when he's behind closed doors, he is trying to fucking kill himself the whole time. He's got a lot of serious issues. But like I said, with Wolverine, it's the same thing with Deadpool. He doesn't believe that he's worthy of redemption. He doesn't believe that he's worthy of being a hero, being loved, but he tries anyway. He constantly fucks up, but he tries because he wants to be loved, he wants to be respected, he wants to be a hero. He wants to be forgiven for all of his mistakes. Deadpool, I think, struggles with that a little bit more because, with his insanity based on how much he's been experimented with, it's gonna take him a little bit. But he does get there. Thank God. Very funny character. He is more than just pop culture reference, 7th grade humor. I'm not going to name names, but I did read a review that just said that's all he was, and I call bullshit on that. Read the Daniel Way run. There's a lot of good stuff with Deadpool. You just need to really look in the right place. The movies are a pretty good starting point. I could probably drone on if I had a lot more prepared about Deadpool. I may do a video separate on Deadpool Wolverine later on, and I'll probably go into that a little bit better because I'll have my thoughts a little bit more collected. So I'm just going to pass it right back to you, Mr. Tanner.
Great stuff. All right. Austin, go ahead.
It's going to be brief. It's going to be very brief. I'm not a diehard Wolverine head or Deadpool person outside of when somebody puts them in good movies. For the longest time, I swear to God, Deadpool stuck out in my mind as a stage in Mortal Kombat 2 on the Sega Genesis. Wolverine was kind of just a subpar character for Marvel vs. Capcom. I always preferred to play as motherfucking Gambit. If I had to choose between the two, I'd pick Deadpool as my favorite, because I've never seen Wolverine get pegged on International Women's Day. Back to you, Tanner.
Fantastic work, Austin. Tim, your turn.
So my introduction to Deadpool is when I watched the Teen Titans cartoon, was introduced to Slade Wilson. No, I'm kidding. My introduction to Deadpool it's the movies. Like, that's my only real history with the character, because I haven't really read any of the X-Men comics, but I've always liked X-Men. Like, I watched some of the cartoons as a kid. I didn't watch the 90s one quite so much, but I loved X-Men Evolution. That was a show that I watched a lot as a kid. I loved Scott McNeil's take on Wolverine as a kid, and then going into Hugh Jackman's take on the character when I got to the live-action movies. Just two very good takes on the character at a young age, and obviously Hugh Jackman's has stood the test of time. The man can't get away from the role. But he's good when he looks good when he does it. He's good at it. I hope they let him make more singing movies when he's done with this one. Just let him do what he wants. But yeah, I guess out of the two characters, I would definitely say that Wolverine is my favorite of the two. He's probably my favorite X-Man, which is a basic answer, but like he's cool. Fuck it, he's a fucking cool character. Then Joe kind of went into this. There's a lot to get into with him. Like he has some emotional gravitas. He's got humor. He's just a cool character. So yeah, I dig him. And I'm gonna dig into these movies later. Back to you, Tanner.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick, Tanner, because he brought up X-Men Evolution. You want a good example of Wolverine being very funny? Watch X-Men Evolution. He cracks a lot of quips in that show, and that's some of the best Wolverine humor.
Also, I think if we want to talk about Wolverine being funny in cartoon, the new X-Men 97 cartoon, I find that even though Wolverine is sparsely used, he's very funny in it. You haven't watched 97 yet for some reason, watch it. It's like one of the best things Marvel Studios has ever done.
Yeah.
I still have not watched it, but I want to.
Tim, you would love it. Let's just get right into it. I'll start with Wolverine. When it comes to Wolverine, I don't remember a time where I wasn't aware of who he is. Obviously, when I was like a real little kid, the thing I was obsessed with was Spider-Man and Star Wars. Maybe a little bit of a Batman in there, and there was very little room for any other characters to kind of coexist. But as I kind of came into myself more, I obviously became aware of the X-Men movies. I was a big fan of X2 growing up. I distinctly remember, I probably have told this story on the podcast multiple times at this point, having a bootleg VHS copy of X2 that I recorded parts of Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones over to try and mash the two movies up. And if memory serves me correctly, the X2 scenes I kept in the most were the scenes about Wolverine.
Tanner making his first mixtape?
Yeah, partially because I swear to God I've told that story on here before. In part because in X2, Wolverine is kind of clearly the main character.
Yeah.
Wolverine's kind of the main character of all the fucking X-Men movies, really, but...
To quote, it's just some random guy. Weren't all the X-Men movies about you? They sure as hell weren't about Halle Berry. At least she didn't think so.
It's great. Had a lot of fondness for Wolverine growing up. I would say my top three favorite superheroes, first off, is the most generic list of top three favorite superheroes ever. For me, it's Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, which if you polled the average person on the street, they would probably say something very similar. So
Yeah.
I'm aware it's generic, and don't worry, it gets more generic because outside of that top three, I'd say my number 4 is probably Wolverine. I've always loved Wolverine. A lot of it has to do with Hugh Jackman's portrayal of the role. And because that is sort of the version of Wolverine I was introduced to, it makes me very forgiving of the fact that Hugh Jackman's about a foot too tall for the part in all actuality. But he does this thing with the character that makes me not care. I think Wolverine's a brilliant character, full of tragedy, pathos, and, like you guys have all been saying, quite a fair bit of comedy. He's really freaking funny. Now, Deadpool. I was introduced to Deadpool through a video game. My introduction to the character of Deadpool was 2006's Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which is quite frankly where I was introduced to a lot of Marvel characters outside of the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Hulk, and Spider-Man. My introduction to a lot of them came through that video game. Moon Knight, Ghost Rider. I don't think I was kind of aware of Daredevil before that. I think that's the first time I ever saw Iron Man and Captain America and something. Only because I just wasn't really locked into Marvel like I was before I played that game. Now, after playing that game, I have since become like, I obviously became a huge comic fan afterwards. But Deadpool, I remember being one of my favorite characters to play in the game because his teleportation was broken just enough that sometimes you could skip through doors that you weren't really supposed to be able to do. And that made him a very overpowered character. He was the only character in the game who could teleport. And he was also anchored by a strong voice performance by one John Cassier, who I would later find in a movie again 15 years later when he's one of the principal actors in a 2020 movie called Butter. That is a story for another day, though. I just noticed that on IMDb and I had to bring it up.
Shit. Oh.
Fucking Butter!
Butter! One of the worst movies ever made. Not his fault. He plays a great Deadpool. I was then further introduced to him through X-Men Origins Wolverine, in which he was nothing like he fucking was in the video game, and that confused me as a child. Then I have actually a very fond Deadpool-related video game memory other than Marvel Ultimate Alliance. When I have a genetic condition called Sackman's kyphosis. I swear to God this is relevant. It is a condition similar to scoliosis, except instead of an S-shaped curve, mine is a hunchback curve. When I was 15 years old, I had to get corrective surgery, a spinal fusion surgery, in order to correct that and fix that so I wouldn't be a fucking hunchback for the rest of my life. I have about 22 rods and screws in my spine to this day. The reason I bring this up is that my first day of bed rest, when my dad was checking in on me to leave, I handed him $50 out of my wallet and said, "Hey Dad, can you go to Walmart? The Deadpool game just came out today." So I spent a lot of my bed rest from spinal surgery playing the Deadpool game. And I had a lot of fun with it, even though he wasn't quite like the comic character I came to know. It was very, very zany, even more so than normal. And seemed to be lacking in any of the tragedy I have come to know from the character. But I thought it nailed the humor, and Nolan North, I think, actually makes an incredible Deadpool. So I didn't mind it too much. And that was a very fond memory for me. And then just a few short laters, the movie came out. Saw it opening weekend with my dad, and the rest is history. But when it comes to which character is my favorite, I mean, I kind of gave the game away earlier when I said Wolverine was number 4 outside my top 3. I love Wolverine. I've always loved Wolverine. A lot of that is Hugh Jackman's portrayal. Hugh Jackman has been Wolverine since I was 2 years old. I don't really understand a world where Hugh Jackman isn't Wolverine. That world just doesn't exist to me mentally, and I know I'm sure I'm making a lot of you feel really old right now. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine to me, and Hugh Jackman's one of my favorite actors. And on that note of me preferring Wolverine over Deadpool, let's just get right into it.
What kind of monster are you? The Wolverine.
We're going to start with talking about our thoughts on 2013's The Wolverine. And to get things started, we're going, the person in this call, there's one of us who has kept expressing his enthusiasm and how much he loves this movie and how excited he is to talk about this movie and how it might be one of his favorite movies of all time. So Austin, how about you get things started for us?
All right. Let's just lay the groundwork here to establish that I am a man of principles. There are 3 cuts of this movie. There's the theatrical PG-13 version that runs for 2 hours and 6 minutes. Then there's the R-rated extended edition of the Wolverine that clocks in at about 2 hours and 18 minutes. Then there's the 90-minute Austin Zwiebelman cut where you put the extended edition on after you get home from work and fall asleep during the chunk between the fight with the bear hunter and the funeral kidnapping. Gotta recommend cut number 3 to the real heads out there. The less you consciously engage with this movie's dialogue scenes, the better. To go off on a tangent briefly, and trust me, this goes somewhere, my husband has been wanting to watch more Kyle MacLachlan movies since we sat down to watch Criterion's 4K of Blue Velvet. Trust me. This pick for, movie number 2 was David Lynch's Dune, where MacLachlan plays Emerald Lagasse, King of Spice. And I couldn't help but make a mental connection between the 1984 Dune movie and 2013's The Wolverine. They're both movies that were made obsolete by later, better movies. Now that we have Logan, I gotta say, The Wolverine feels like a half measure. As somebody who's worked in a movie theater when this came out and has seen it 20 times, The Wolverine always felt a little bit empty. But even as, the middle child in a real trilogy of Wolverine movies, this doesn't feel like a critical step in the story so much as a failed prototype. To use an analogy with songs, Logan reminds me of Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt. The Wolverine reminds me of Pain by 3 Days Grace. One of those songs was on my iPod. The other wasn't. There are so many things in here that did not work for me. For starters, this is a glaring example of that old trope where everybody in Japan knows Kung Fu. And grown characters talk about honor. Like, this is the Karate Kid. James Mangold is fucking beaming on the commentary track about how he made a studio film that's 1/3 in actual fucking Japanese. But this is also a film about how Logan accidentally created a supervillain by saving him from being vaporized at Nagasaki. And one thing that became glaringly apparent, because I watched this with my spouse who has not seen X3 The Last Stand, it is fucking odd that Logan spends 90% of this movie acting like he killed Jean Grey because he's a cursed little man who accidentally turned the safety off on his knife hands during a snuggle session. Logan being haunted by Jean's death, perfectly good source of conflict for your screenplay. But it goes through exactly one evolution. Right at the end of the movie, when he finally pipes up and mentions why it happened in the larger context of the X-Men story. So we're stuck with, like, what, 3, 4 Jean Grey cameos, all hammering home the same boring point that Wolverine's, like, not super stoked Jean is kind of dead in general. The screenwriters could have just, like, Googled the 5 stages of grief, switched those sequences up a little each time, and actually built something slightly more substantial, but instead, our ghost of girlfriend's past plot thread builds to Wolverine finding inner peace by figuring out something obvious that everybody who's seen the third X-Men movie has known since they watched the fucking professor get exploded back in 2006. It's a monumentally dull way to have that play out. And, in my opinion, they could have explored the psychological angle of Wolverine's story with a little bit more intelligence. It's half measures all the way around. The action sequences had to be shot to work with a PG-13 rating for theaters. Wolverine sincerely wants to die, but then finds the will to live again in the arms of his inexplicably affectionate billionaire girlfriend. The whole thing feels like a self-contained side mission because the larger, like, mutants versus human conflict goes totally unaddressed. Even after the apocalyptic clusterfuck that was X3 The Last Stand, it tries to build on pathos from previous films with really low-grade materials and fails to show us anything new or interesting about the titular character. So yeah, in closing, I'm so happy we have Logan now, and I can just spend the rest of my natural life ignoring X-Men Origins Wolverine and this fucking movie. They clearly wanted to make a darker, more violent Wolverine film with, like, more complexity and depth. So thank God Deadpool made $782 million at the box office and allowed that significantly better second attempt to be possible. Because this is middle-of-the-road studio bullshit! Even with the extra added scenes of ninjas getting shredded by a snowblower. Back to you, Tanner.
Yeah, but goddamn, Hugh Jackman's body goes crazy, don't it?
He's so ripped! Oh my god!
This is, a side note, this is like easily the most shredded he is in any of these, right?
Hugh, what were you eating?
Yeah,
This is when he's the
probably.
most huge jacked man.
I can't deny that.
I can't say you're wrong with anything you said, Austin. But have you considered, no.
Play the Tanner soundboard. Shut the fuck up!
Shut the fuck up!
Hey, Austin, have you ever considered? Go fuck yourself.
He's got me there.
You know what? This movie has a great F-bomb, was fuck you, pretty boy.
That's true.
That's a great F-bomb. And speaking of F-bombs, perhaps our expert of F-bombs, Tim. What did you think of the Wolverine?
The Wolverine. All right. So I will say that, like, I think, as far as trilogies go, the Wolverine trilogy is just very funny to me because I think it's like the most clear consensus anybody has on the rankings of said trilogy. Like, I don't think anybody's saying X-Men Origins Wolverine is better than any of these fucking movies. And most people would say the Wolverine is pretty good, certainly better than Origins, and then Logan is like an actual masterpiece comic book movie. So yeah, that in itself is just very funny to me. I enjoy this movie. I think all of Austin's criticisms are valid, but it's a fun time for me. I think it's one of the more like rule of cool ass X-Men movies. Like you got the fight on the bullet train. That shit's cool. You got fucking Yukio plowing people and spraying their blood everywhere. That shit's cool.
In the unrated version. Just to be clear, that is only in the unrated version.
In the unrated extended edition, you get that extra gore, and it's cool. You got fucking the antagonist in a fucking adamantium Gundam samurai suit. That shit's cool. It's just banking on all of the shit that just makes for a cool action set piece every time, and I dig that. It's a little long, I'll admit, but I think each of the individual set pieces make for a good time, at least for me. So yeah, I think it's certainly a step up from Origins Wolverine, and you know, it sets the mood for Days of Future Past and Logan, but it in short, just a solid time. I guess that's all I got. Back to you, Tanner.
Great stuff. I'm glad you highlighted the bullet train sequence. I think we can all agree. Even those that don't like it, that is the best scene in the movie. It is kind of a shame it happened so early, but it is still an awesome scene. All right, Joe, I know you're on the side of the rest of us as being pro the Wolverine, so go ahead and lay into it.
Yes, I am pro the Wolverine. I'll get my problems with it out of the way first. It is structured fairly well. However, I can admit it can be a little too generic a lot of the time. When it slows down, it definitely like really slows down. Viper as a villain feels like she is in a completely different movie. So let me kind of break down how I feel about her performance. Like, it would be a good performance in Batman and Robin. Because like the entire movie, she is giving off Uma Thurman Poison Ivy vibes.
Yeah, I think the same thing.
And then everyone in the rest of the movie is taking it deadly serious.
Joe, I'll be honest, I watched that movie earlier today and I already forgot about Viper.
Let's be fair, she is a very forgettable character too. Like, my god. There's nothing to her, and then just her performance feels like it belongs in a different movie. Yeah, and the one bit, it makes me laugh every time, but like the seriousness at the end of like Wolverine trying not to get his adamantium claws cut off, when he gets the second pair cut off, it is the funniest fucking thing ever. Because he's just climbing right back up. He thinks he's killed the bad guy, and then just whoosh!
Oh, this is getting to be goddamn ridiculous.
It's a little too funny, and it's not supposed to be, but I still really like this movie. I think, other than Logan, which is Hugh Jackman at his peak, this is some peak Wolverine right here, where it's like a balance of the tragedy and also a balance of the humor. Wolverine is actually very funny in this movie. Stabs the fucking guy in the hand with the arrow, and he's like, ask me where I got it. Pours liquor on it. Ask me where I got it. Where'd you get it? Oh, well, funny you should ask.
I love that. His delivery is so perfect.
It's so good. How'd you know there's a pool? I didn't. After literally throwing a guy off a fucking building.
Let me interject real quick, because the funniest line reading of Hugh Jackman in this movie, in my opinion, is also arguably the most badass somehow. It's at the end of the movie where he says, "You brought me here to say goodbye. Sayonara."
I fucking cheered.
It's so good.
I cheered. It is so good. I love that line. It's one of his best one-liners. It's not as good as some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill from Blade. But
Nothing can top that.
But it's up there. Nothing will ever top Blade. Marvel, call me to direct the reboot, please. I've got something simple for you.
Blade
there's
kills
a lot
vampires.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, overall, I enjoy the movie for what it is. It's fairly standard, but there's a lot to like about it. It is a good looking movie. A lot of the performances are really good in it. There's a lot of fun action in it. As mentioned, the train scene is the best scene of the movie. I might get more into it in general discussion whenever we get to it, but I'll let Tanner talk. Back to you, Tanner.
All right. Well, guess it's my time to shine and say my time to shine hello. Let's just get it out of the way and mention it. This movie's fucking insane. This movie starts with Nagasaki being nuked. That's how this movie starts. That's your opening scene. There's not like a cold open of Hugh Jackman in the present. No, the cold open is one of the worst atrocities in the history of mankind. That's the cold open. That's how we start. And that is maybe only the fourth most insane thing to happen in this movie. You want to know another thing that's insane? For the most part, this is a relatively grounded X-Men movie with Hugh Jackman having to lose his powers for a lot of it that culminates in an awesome fight in a darkened Japanese home where he takes on a samurai and wins properly. And as he pulls the sword out, and after being asked, "What are you?" he goes, "The Wolverine." And then the studio came in and said, "We need a giant robot," and thus the third act was added. But at the same time, this insanity I just brought up feels quaint by today's standards. 3 years ago, a Marvel Studios movie called Eternals came out, in which one of the main characters is crying over the burnt landscape of Hiroshima, blaming himself for it. Giant robots are in basically every other fucking Marvel movie now. The insanity of this movie, by today's standards, feels quite normal. In that sense, if it was, the existence of Logan has made it age somewhat not well, but in terms of the complaints I had back then, which were these crazy out of ball moments, they seem fine now. That's just what comic book movies are now. It was kind of ahead of the curve. I just wanted to get that out of the way because that is the closest thing I can make to a complaint other than the fact I think the movie's a bit long in the tooth. This movie's fucking insane, and yet it doesn't matter because now every comic book movie is fucking insane. That's just what movies are now. I think The Wolverine is always what I thought the platonic ideal of a solo Wolverine movie could be. Pretty good, adapts one of the better well-known arcs from the comics. Probably the best it was ever going to be, acknowledges some of the other X-Men movies. I didn't think a movie like Logan was truly possible until it happened, obviously. So I thought this is the best we're going to get. And in terms of it being just another Wolverine adventure, I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
The action set pieces are really good. I think it adds a lot of stakes when you weaken Wolverine's healing factor by that much. And he can still heal, obviously, because he's tanking bullets left and right. But he feels much more human. It honestly reminds me of his healing factor from when he was first introduced in the comics. It took them like 20, 30 years to reach the point where Wolverine was like, yeah, just a skull is left, but he can regenerate from that. It took them a while to reach that point of his healing factor, basically making him impossible to kill. It took them a minute to get there. And it kind of reminds me of that early healing factor Wolverine had in the comics, which adds a lot of interesting stakes. The bullet train sequence is fucking awesome. I love how they're like jumping and ducking over all these obstacles and how Wolverine wins by being clever at the end. He fakes a jump and the guy jumps and just gets fucking his shit kicked in by a sign. Which leads to a really funny scene where he goes back in the train and she's like, "We gotta go." And his billionaire girlfriend's just like, "What the fuck is what? What the hell happened to you?" Because she was just listening to her iPod Nano from 2007, completely unaware of the world around her. But speaking of that billionaire girlfriend, that kind of ties into one of the other things that's a little weird about this movie now in hindsight, which is the fact that none of this fucking shit ever matters again.
No.
The movie ends with him being like to his girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, I'll see you again. And Yuko being like, yeah, we'll have lots of more adventures. No, you won't. The timeline's getting reset next year.
You
might
get
not even
recast in
exist
Deadpool
anymore.
2!
Oh my god, that is Yuko. Oh my god. Shit. It was only 5 years later. That's crazy. And you know what? They should have kept the fucking scene in where Yukio shows her the suit. I don't care. Considering the fact that up until now, I thought that was never going to be paid off. Just keep the scene in where it's like, yeah, check out this suit. But I get it. It makes a very little lick of sense for that to be there. I think this is a really fun, grounded movie for the first 2/3, and then the third act gets into goofy territory. But again, it's kind of quaint now, and I kind of like it. I think it's really funny when they reveal the most obvious thing ever, which is the Silver Samurai. Which, first off, it's so funny they made that random old man the Silver Samurai, when in the comics, Harada, the ninja running around and tracking them the whole time, he's the Silver Samurai in the comics, and he never even picks up a sword like that. Thought that was kind of funny, but whatever. Making him a giant mech, sure, it's an American movie that takes place in Japan. There has to be a giant robot. It's in a contract somewhere. I think it's with the peace treaty we signed after World War II. It's like right there after Japan. It's like Article 5, Japan will have no standing army. Article 6, if you ever make movies that take place here, we have to use a giant robot.
Yeah.
It's in the contract, man. Fuck if I know. It's a fun movie. It's an enjoyable movie. It'll be outclassed by Logan in a few years, but for what it is, it's an enjoyable watch, albeit a little long. And on that note, we're gonna actually switch gears a little bit here. For the Deadpool section of this episode, it'll be hosted by Mr. Joe Vrenick. But before we do that, we're gonna take a quick ad break.
Let's do it. All right, motherfuckers, we're back from the commercial break, but first, another ad for you. You like movies, you like canvas, you like art, you want to feel fancy. Well, we got the thing for you. It's called MoviePalette.com. Basically, what it is, it's every frame of a movie stripped down to its primary color, and it's made into like a really nice canvas piece for you. Right behind Tanner, he's got one for Punch Drunk Love. Behind Tim, he's got one for Mandy. You could probably find one for the Wolverine, and it'd be really gray. You could probably find one for the movie Deadpool. It would also be really gray. But one that would not be really gray is for maybe the worst movie I've ever seen while high on edibles. It's called Meet the Deedles. Don't make one out of that. But if you're so inclined, if you're so inclined to get a Meet the Deedles... Meet the Deedles movie palette. You can make a custom one at the website. Go to moviepalette.com. They've been really good sponsors to us. And while you're at your checkout, type in the code SQUAD15 to save 15% on your order at checkout. You won't save 15% or more on car insurance. That's for Geico.
I haven't said that in months. Fuck you.
I know you haven't, and you've done a really good job. I just wanted to poke fun at it, because that's what the character in the next movie we're gonna talk about would probably do. That would be Wade Wilson in the movie Deadpool, the 2016 film.
I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Pulverine.
We're going to just jump right the fuck into it. I'm gonna actually start off with you, Tanner, since I was poking fun at you. We're gonna get your thoughts out of the way first.
I thought I'd have a second to breathe after the Wolverine. Okay. I think we can all agree, even though I think we all said we liked Wolverine more as a character. I think that's right.
Yeah. Well, I personally like Deadpool more. But that's
okay. My mistake.
Because I did not actually state which character I liked.
That's fine.
Deadpool.
It seems like we're split on that then. We can all probably agree that between the two movies we're talking about today, this one is significantly better.
Yeah.
I say that as a big fan of the Wolverine. I think this is better. And a lot of that has to do with something that's missing in a lot of comic book movies today. And judging by the recent movie Twisters, in which for some fucking reason they built up 2 hours of sexual tension, literally had a character run into an airport, and then they didn't fucking
They cut it.
We're doing
It
an
was
episode.
filmed and everything.
I know,
We
I
have
know.
the
We're doing an
footage.
episode on Twisters. We are doing an episode on Twisters. I will complain about it then.
Blame Mr. Steven Spielberg for that.
Yeah, I know. This movie does romance and a love story incredibly well. I think what makes Deadpool succeed is that at its core, it's kind of a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's kind of a romantic comedy. The movie starts with an awesome action set piece that was basically just the test footage that leaked a couple of years ago that forced Fox to finally make this fucking movie. But after that, we get these series of flashbacks that mostly focus on developing Wade Wilson and his romance with Vanessa. And their chemistry, the scenes they have with each other are just incredible. That having sex through a year montage is one of the more interesting and funny ways I've seen a movie quickly establish a relationship between two characters.
Yeah.
But if there are rom-coms like this where you establish things quickly, then you'll break them up quickly. And then the whole rest of the movie is sort of like them finding their way back to each other. Deadpool is a lot like that. So we obviously focus more on the Wade Wilson side of the story through a bunch of gory, bloody, violently awesome set pieces and a lot of very funny fourth wall breaking moments, and then a lot of unfortunate moments where I'm forced to stare at TJ Miller's face.
Yeah.
I say that as someone that used to like TJ Miller. TJ Miller has a lot of serious allegations against him, and called it a bomb threat once, right? Was that him?
No, that was Eric.
He was the bomb
Bachman.
threat guy, right?
That was Eric Bachman, who is fat and dumb.
Eric Bachman, this is you as an old man. I'm ugly and I'm dead alone.
I'm gonna let him have this one. All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, future me. What a terrible thing. I'll talk to you in several years.
TJ Miller starred the Emoji Movies in this movie, and he plays Weasel, and he does a pretty good job as Weasel. Their scenes are fun enough. I actually still like that movie. I give this movie 5 stars. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the action set pieces are incredible. I think Ryan Reynolds was fucking born to play Deadpool, and he has clearly embraced the role as his thing, correctly so, because it's gotten great dividends through his career. I think with Ryan Reynolds, you can point out pre-Deadpool, post-Deadpool. The only unfortunate thing post-Deadpool is that every movie he's in, he's still playing Deadpool, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that, like, Free Guy, fun movie. The Atom Project, fun movie. He's playing Deadpool that doesn't break the fourth wall.
Ryan Reynolds is like, what if Jim Carrey is Andy Kaufman, but he didn't fucking stop?
You know what movie he actually doesn't play Deadpool much in? A movie that doesn't exist. Red Notice.
Oh yeah.
I saw that movie.
I've never seen that movie, and
Yeah.
I don't think I ever want to.
I watched that movie, and I'm still not convinced it actually exists.
Next week on Bomb Squad Matinee.
Yeah, we're talking about Red Notice.
Red Notice, more like Burn Notice. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yo mama.
I mean, Bruce Campbell is on that show. It'd be more fitting we talk about that.
Deadpool is almost a more difficult movie to talk about because it's almost structurally perfect. The screenplay is perfectly structured, and the flashback to present sequence, they flow between those two timelines so perfectly. I actually checked it when I was watching with my dad on Friday. Do you know it takes the movie, it's about the 1 hour endpoint where the flashbacks finally catch up to the present in the movie? That's crazy. That doesn't feel like more than half the movie, but it is because it's so perfectly paced. And then the third act, which takes place on a helicarrier for some reason, is well done. I think the villain, Ajax, is a perfect nameless scumbag.
Yeah.
I like his whole what's my name thing.
What's my name?
Ooh, I'm gonna fucking spell it out for you.
That's a good bit. And oh my god, I didn't realize this when I was watching the movie, but when the credits rolled in and went, who did this character? Then it said Gina Carano. I went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She
I
plays
had that
Dust.
jump scare too.
Because I did not realize that was her. I forgot what Gina Carano looked like. And then the credits happened and I went, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
The first superhero movie to feature 2 canceled actors.
The X-Men franchise just seems to have that problem with just very problematic people working on it.
Hold on, let me check something. Bryan Singer.
We're just referencing it's just some random guy all the fucking time. Aren't
Can you blame me?
I can't.
Yeah. Deadpool is just kind of more difficult to talk about. The romance is incredibly well done. I think the humor really works. Ryan Reynolds sells it in the lead role. I think it's a lot of fun. It holds up really well. Even 8 years later, I think it holds up really well. And it's just a super fun movie. I really don't know what more I can say. Maybe I'll have more to say in general discussion, but back to you, Joe.
All right, fun fucking times. Mr. Austin's Weebleman, we're gonna go to you next.
Nice. I don't know about you guys, but with Deadpool 3 coming out right around the corner, it made me really pay attention to all the transgressive moments in this on my latest rewatch. There's a scene in this where Deadpool stabs a guy, then hops up on the sword handle while it's stuck in said guy, and then vertically bisects the lower half of this rando henchman. There's a joke in the meet cute where the punchline is clown porn. On the bridge, when Deadpool saws off his arm, it's lovingly shown in frame, as if the first Saw movie back in 2004 didn't spend a whole feature film building up to showing essentially that same level of shit. Now that it's been 8 years, most of the discourse I see about Deadpool, it's mostly on Twitter, is about how it fucked up blockbusters, furthering the Joss Whedonization of character writing where everything needs to be like meta shit posting now. But watching the Wolverine made me realize why Deadpool was a net good for tentpole blockbusters. At least for fuckers like me, being able to put extreme, shocking things in your popcorn flicks is important. Because sometimes people over the age of 13 want to be surprised when they're watching a film. Here's a fun fact. Deadpool came out in February of 2016. And the first day of May, by the first day of May, it had made $361 million fucking dollars. You know what also got announced in May of that year? That James Mangold's upcoming Wolverine film would be rated R from the drop this time, no kid gloves for the theatrical release! Deadpool's commercial success was likely a huge motivating factor that made producers like Simon Kinberg back Logan as we know it and love it today. And guys, I gotta admit, I am scared shitless that those corporate Disney think tank fuckers have spent every day since December 14th, 2017 developing safe for work, R-rated jokes in an evil lab somewhere. We won't know until the new movie's out if our boys rocking Ken doll parts beneath the spandex now by decree of the almighty mouse, but this whole spiel has been my long way of saying I hope they still got room for a little bit of clown porn and disembowelment in this franchise. For the sake of maximum effort, I decided to do my rewatch of Deadpool on the treadmill. And I listened to both of the commentary tracks from the Blu-ray while cleaning my entire house. Two big things stuck out. Tanner already mentioned one of these. The first, of the genre-bending superhero movies that get brought up, I think Deadpool is tonally unique. Like, what is it? Captain America, The Winter Soldier's a political thriller. Ant-Man's a heist movie or whatever. Deadpool is possibly the one and only superhero movie that's also a perfectly lovely romantic comedy. Just like Tanner said. I'm so happy to see Marina Baccarin getting paid. I loved her in Firefly. She's got excellent chemistry with Ryan Reynolds. Even if every line she said about Star Wars made me want to kill myself. Second thing, from listening to the Blu-ray commentary and also having been a full-grown adult when this came out, it's important to remind people that this $58 million superhero movie was actually an underdog effort that went triple platinum and changed the whole fucking game. We're all old here. Almost all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a beard for that reason.
I wasn't even 18 yet when this movie came out.
Most of us remember when the Deadpool test footage got leaked by Ryan Reynolds,
I do remember that, though.
Forcing 20th Century Fox to notice how many paying customers actually wanted to see a movie like this. The PG-13 money was so influential at that point in time that Deadpool's test footage had to get treated like the fucking Pentagon Papers. And thank God the internet actually did something with it. Moment of silence for those special movies where the petitions just weren't enough. the sequel to Dread, the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, a version of Halloween Ends where all the interesting choices are stripped out and replaced by Michael Myers kill scenes. Back to the best case scenario though. Even though you probably can't tell by the finished product, Deadpool was made on a really tiny budget relative to other big studio superhero movies at the time. One metric that demonstrates the crew's kind of like scrappiness that I picked up from the commentary, Deadpool's whole shooting schedule only encompassed 48 days. For people with no frame of reference for like what's a long shoot and what's a short shoot, Green Lantern, the $200 million Ryan Reynolds superhero movie that has since been long forgotten because it's hot cheese wrapped in ass, shot for 88 days. That's right, 88, the Hitler number. Just when you thought Green Lantern couldn't get a worse reputation. Oh my god. But when you tie all this together, the shock value, the romantic chemistry, the way the movie flew in the face of 8 years of PG-13 global domination, you get a strong 7 out of 10 kind of product that I am so fucking proud to cheer on. Back to you, Joe.
All right. So if you were paying attention to my corner of the screen, I was kind of doing this a bit of the time. It's because I just remembered a fun fact that I got to bring up on the trivia here. Because you mentioned Morena Baccarin.
Yeah.
And I gotta bring up her husband. Her husband is one Sir Ben McKenzie, who you may know as the star of Gotham. He plays Jim Gordon. However, for the purposes of me bringing it up, he is also the star of the hit television series,
Wait.
The OC,
Oh
motherfuckers!
my God!
Yeah!
What the fuck? Oh, it never ends!
It's back, motherfuckers!
It's been a minute.
It has been a hot second, and I'm so happy about this!
Tanner's gone.
He's gone! He is gone! Yes! She also cameos on the show too, but I'm just more happy that I got to bring the OC back. All right, we're gonna let Tanner. We're gonna let him have a minute. In the meantime, Tim, do you tell us about your thoughts on Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool's pretty good.
All right, moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
I will say, like, I think it's a situation where, like, I do have to kind of take into consideration all that stuff Austin brought up about its significance in, like, how big of a deal it was when it came out, because, like, they weren't making movies like that at the time, and now they're making a lot of movies like that. In short, a lot of the jokes fell flat on this viewing for me, I'll be honest.
Oh!
I do still think it's a good movie, but a lot of the humor just wasn't landing for me on this viewing. I don't know if has to do with the passing of time and all of the movies being like that now, or maybe it's just my mood today. I don't know. There was still some good stuff there. Like, I do still love "You're About to Be Killed by a Zamboni." That's a funny bit. Happy International Women's Day. That's a classic. I think I do like a little bit more about what Austin was saying about the carnage. There's gonna be carnage.
There's gonna be carnage.
Yeah, I do always enjoy a little bit of red stuff in my action movies, which is why I made a point of bringing up the plow machine in the Wolverine.
Yeah.
And this was a movie where we got to get a lot more of that, which was nice. And there were some very genuinely emotional moments too, like the one line exchange that really sticks out to me is after he gets the cancer diagnosis and he's having that inner monologue of right now she's working on plans A, B, and C, and I'm just trying to memorize her face. That's pretty powerful, I'll be honest. Like, you wouldn't expect that from the Deadpool movie, but yeah, it's pretty good. I'll probably try and revisit these again just because, like, I'm gonna be going to see the new one with my fiance and her friends in like 2 weeks, so we'll have a little bit more time to do a proper revisit. But yeah, Deadpool is pretty good. maybe having a bit of the Seinfeld isn't funny effect with it personally, but that's just me right now. But can't deny its significance, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new one cautiously. Back to you, Joe.
All right. My time to shine. All right, so I'm going to kind of lean a little bit on Tim's side, just a hair. Just a hair. Because,
Dissent.
so, I do really like Deadpool. I like it. However, for me, as a Deadpool fan of the comics, this is a movie that I would just call baby's first Deadpool. Because you have all of the core elements there for Deadpool, but I don't think it necessarily captures what's really special about the character. I think 2 does a much better job of doing that. However, with that said, it is still a really good movie. And there is a lot about the character of Deadpool that the movie does get right. In particular, that one line Tim mentioned. That does feel like a very Deadpool thing that he would say whenever, like, his comics do take a serious moment. The violence is pretty on point for Deadpool as well. I kind of, on this particular rewatch, there's a sort of quaintness to it that I really appreciated. Because I remember there were a lot of critics at the time saying it's like, not only is the R rating like super groundbreaking and it's going to change everything forever, but unlike every other superhero, there's a quaintness to it. It feels like a movie from like several years ago. It's not as insane.
I like how that's a recurring theme for this podcast, is these two insane 2010s movies are quaint by 2024 standards when they have multiverse shit.
Yeah, they are 100% tame by 2024 at this point. God, fuck, even the Avengers. It's not there yet for me, but it's starting to feel a little quaint. But Deadpool, yeah, there is absolutely a quaintness to it that I absolutely appreciated on this one, because it feels a lot more self-contained than most of what we get nowadays. I mean, it still exists in the X-Men universe. Like, Colossus is fucking there. And they show the X-Mansion. They reference Hugh Jackman, McAvoy, Stewart. Gets confused as which one's which. It's a solid movie for what it is. It's a good introduction to the character of Deadpool and kind of what he's all about. Again, as I think everyone has mentioned this whenever they talk about the movie, Ryan Reynolds was just born to fucking play this character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hell, even the creators of some of the better Deadpool comics, they like specifically listed Ryan Reynolds as who they would want to play Deadpool.
I literally don't know a version of Deadpool that isn't Ryan Reynolds.
Right. In fact, I think the line was, it was in a Cable and Deadpool comic. It was, they were asking him what he looks like underneath the mask, and he said he's like, I look like Ryan Reynolds if you crossed him with like a shaved Sharpay or something like that. Like, even the creators wanted Ryan Reynolds to play Deadpool, and they were right. There's no one except for maybe Nolan North, but I think that's like a Kevin Conroy thing with like Batman. It's like Nolan North kills it as the voice of Deadpool, and I don't want anyone else to play that character voice-wise. With that said, in live action, no one can beat fucking Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. He was born to play that character 100%. What's his face that plays Ajax? He's really fucking good in this. I just love how he embraces being a shithead. Like, he is a slimy son of a bitch, and he is, like, playing that character to perfection. And you're just like, man, you're playing your character so well. I can't wait to see you fucking die.
Yep.
I think this is the first time that we get a comic-accurate Colossus. Because he is big, he is Russian, he's completely CGI, and he's completely a softie. Yeah, gotta love it. I'm laughing because I'm now just remembering the funniest character in the movie. It's Blind Al. Everything between those two, that's where the comedy hits for me. Just them talking about all the IKEA stuff that they bought and just Blind Al not being able to build it. It's so good. I love every time they're on screen together. I can't wait to see Blind Al again.
She can't do cocaine. It's the one thing Feige won't allow.
Yeah.
I left a bunch of cocaine under the floorboards right next to the cure for blindness.
Which is paid off in the sequel when he opens one of the floorboards and he gets a bunch of cocaine and there's a vial labeled the cure to blindness.
Yep. And I'll say this too. I hate that the one quote in this movie is the one that I've adapted into my everyday life. It's the one before the cure for blindness quote. It's from Weasel. That's why I kind of hate that I have incorporated this into my life. He's like, I'd go with you, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so simple but perfect.
TJ Miller as a person sucks, but goddamn, he was kind of fucking funny.
Yeah.
He is so good at line delivery.
Yeah,
You look like if Freddy Krueger fucked the state of Utah.
Yeah.
That would actually, because here's the thing. That line would be so easy to make awful.
Yeah.
But he delivers it well.
He does. But yeah, very funny movie. A great introduction to the character of Deadpool. We at this time we've not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, so we have no idea if it gets any better. But for right now, if you want like the perfect Deadpool, where it's like the perfect marriage of film and comic, watch the sequel. The sequel's, I think, the better movie. And Deadpool actually kind of goes through an arc in that movie. In this one, he has an anti-arc, which is fine. For what the movie's going for, that's fine. That's also kind of in character for him a little bit, but he does learn. He's not a character that regresses completely. Like, he does learn. But for this movie, it works just fine. But yeah, we're just gonna transition into general discussion now. Let's just get into it. We've been talking about these movies for a hot second. Yes, Tanner.
We talk about how this Deadpool movie and the Wolverine movie have something in common.
What?
They're both directed by Academy Award nominated directors.
Oh.
Really?
Yes. James Mangold obviously got a bunch of noms for Ford v Ferrari, and more specifically, he was actually nominated for the screenplay of Logan. And Tim Miller, alongside with another director, are both co-nominated for Best Animated Short Film in the 2005 edition of the Academy Awards. For bonus points, can anyone tell me who he was co-nominated with?
Jeffrey Katzenberg.
You're actually closer than you think, Austin, because this man's name is Jeff. His name is Jeff Fowler, and he's the director of the Sonic movies.
Oh, man.
My name is Jeff.
Fucking,
Which is why Tim Miller is an executive director on the Sonic movies. Fun fact.
fucking John Ralphio.
Executive producer. Sorry.
I will say that does track, because watching Deadpool again, it kind of reminded me of the Sonic has the Deadpool humor thing. I'm like, not totally inaccurate.
God. What was it? I can't believe the reason that Ryan Reynolds is playing Deadpool is because a movie producer saw him in Blade 3 and was like, gee, I wonder if he knows this guy is basically Deadpool, the guy he's playing, and then sent him a Deadpool comic and was like, think about it. This might be the best thing that happened because of Blade Trinity.
If everything happens for a reason.
It took them 4 tries to give Ryan Reynolds good material to work with in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Blade Trinity sucks. X-Men Origins sucks. Green Lantern Turbo sucks.
Yeah.
Hot take, out of those 3 movies I just said, maybe this isn't a hot take. I'd say Green Lantern is the worst of them.
Yeah.
I know Origins Wolverine is not liked, but you know what? The first 20 minutes of Origin, especially that opening sequence, really good.
The war montage.
Opening sequence good. Liev Schreiber good. Ryan Reynolds, when he's actually talking, is good. Because he's still playing the character really well when he is not a completely different actor.
Does he break the fourth wall in that? I don't think he does.
No,
he doesn't. He just has a lot of the quips you just associate him with.
He has.
I mean, if you count the post-credit scene of the head going shh. That's kind of.
Yeah, he stares into the camera a little, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he cut a bullet in half in that movie?
He does.
Yes.
He halves the fourth bullet. Yeah, that's an okay part. Did you all know Dopinder's a real person? Did any of you know this?
Yeah, kid that got struck by lightning.
Yeah, he died getting struck by lightning. Ryan Reynolds went to elementary school with a kid named Dopinder. That's where the name came from. And this guy fucking died Benjamin Button style. Also, kind of funny bit about the actor who plays Dopinder, Karan Soni of Safety Not Guaranteed fame. He apparently was the toughest guy to get to sign on the project, which is weird. Like, all the producers had to call him and beg him to come on. Apparently, he was worried about committing to a feature film like Deadpool because he was worried it would hurt his TV career. Like, this dude was like, oh no, I won't get to be in the Mindy Project or whatever the fuck. Can you imagine? Jesus
He just
Christ.
reminded me that the Mindy Project exists.
Speaking of like being worried about like the time commitment or something like that, that actually reminds me of something to do with the Wolverine, because we're doing general discussion for both.
Yeah.
Are you guys aware of the director that almost directed the Wolverine? Not the one that was signed on, for the record, the other one.
David Leitch?
Darren Aronofsky.
Yes, Darren Aronofsky. That's not the one I'm talking about. David Leitch, who went on to direct Deadpool 2, is the second unit director of the Wolverine. There's a fun fact for you.
And the stunt.
He also directed a movie with action scenes on a bullet train.
I guess he was only in talks for it, but I'm surprised you guys know, because this is like one of a bazillion projects he was attached to but never did. Guillermo del Toro was in talks to do the Wolverine, because he's a big fan of the Japan arc in the comics.
Yeah, he made Pacific Rim that year. It was for the best.
Austin looked upset that I said that.
Guillermo del Toro has been attached to literally every film that's been made in the last 20 fucking years.
That's true. Including the ones he did make.
Yeah.
I rewatched Crimson Peak. It's fucking great. You just gotta
Crimson
be...
Peak is awesome.
Oh my god, you just have to be a slightly older adult and it's great. Wow.
Doesn't get enough credit. But yeah, Aronofsky almost directed the Wolverine because him and Hugh Jackman were familiar with each other after The Fountain, a movie where a flower grows out of Hugh Jackman's crotch or something.
Many
I haven't seen The
flowers.
Fountain in a while.
Death is the road to... Oh shit, that hurt. That's a Clint Mansell joke.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. He kind of pulled out at like the last second because he was like, actually, I don't want to go to Australia. I want to stay here with my kids. So the next movie Aronofsky made was instead, hold on, let me check my notes. Noah. Great choice, buddy. Great choice. But honestly, I think it was all for the best because James Mangold was honestly, I think, the perfect director to make Logan down the line. I don't know if any other director would have had that instinct to make it a Western.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone would have had that either.
I only think the guy who made Girl Interrupted could have made Logan. I only think the guy who made Walk the Line could have made Logan.
Listen, you joke, but he also made the amazing 310 to Yuma remake.
Yeah.
Also, fuck you. Girl Interrupted is incredible. Fuck you.
I don't
Eat my
know.
shit.
I keep going back and forth. I'm kind of on the borderline about that movie. I don't know if I like it.
What's that like movie he made with Stallone? Copland?
Copland. I thought you were gonna say
him.
It was Dread. It was he made Rocky. Actually, James Mangold's
He made the Italian Stallion.
The guy that made Night and Day. I want him to make Logan.
Don't forget, he most recently made. Let me check notes.
Oh.
The last Indiana Jones movie.
He's seen better days.
I was correct. It was Copland.
Have you ever listened to James fucking Mangold talk? He sounds just like Anthony Bourdain. It's really fucked.
I think James Mangold legitimately looks the way he sounds.
Yeah.
When James Mangold speaks, I'm like, that's correct.
Wait, have you guys heard about how the citizens of Vancouver fucking hated Ryan Reynolds for a minute?
What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone hated Ryan Reynolds for a bit.
No, during the filming of Deadpool. Like, this wasn't around when he was Van Wilder and shit. in April, like around April 6th of 2015, the Deadpool shoot, they closed this viaduct in Vancouver for several hours every day for 2 weeks to film that opening scene of the movie on the bridge where Deadpool fights Francis. But yeah, it caused like such major traffic that Ryan Reynolds was just getting his DMs just fucking annihilated with Canadian death threats. Just fucking every maple syrup chugging, fucking hockey loving piece of shit was like, oh gee, I don't like that you did this to us. What the fuck? Like, they were pissed at him.
I kind of want to circle back to the Darren Aronofsky thing real quick. The reason he gave was that it was because he wanted to spend time with the kids. The word on the street is that Aronofsky's draft, which fun fact, the draft that Aronofsky rewrote was a rewrite of a script that Christopher fucking McQuarrie wrote.
Oh yeah.
The Wolverine was in development for a minute. It was also supposed to be another prequel. Originally, it was James Mangold's idea to make it a sequel to X-Men 3. Aronofsky's script was apparently like hard R, like there was a lot of sexual content in it.
Hell yeah.
And the studio was apparently not going for it.
That tracks.
Oh my god.
Also, one quick thing about the Wolverine. I think it's a bad sign for your movie when I go back to the Reddit discussion thread that was made 10 years ago about it, and half of the comments are exclusively talking about how awesome the credit scene was.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a great credit scene.
Yes.
That's how you make a good, this is where we're going teaser.
Yeah,
The best of the two mid-credits teasers for X-Men Days of Future Past.
Wait, there were two?
Well, in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they just play a scene from the movie in the middle of the credits.
What the fuck?
Which
Joe,
is
hey.
not present in the home release. It's not present on the streaming release, but inexplicably, when they released it back into theaters this year, it was in that release.
I lost my shit when that happened.
Joe and I both did. I was talking to Joe before the movie started, and I was like, man, I hope it's in there. And Joe was like, it's probably not going to be in there. And then it was, and Joe and I both were, yes!
Yeah, I was just like, I'm back at my last month of high school again. This fucking rules.
Now we're truly living in the Days of Future Past. That's fucking crazy.
We need to do our Days of Future Past episode here eventually, guys. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's considering recent politics, it's very timely. Anyway.
Yeah, great movie.
Great movie. Anyway, let's get back on track. Speaking of the Wolverine, I want to briefly mention my theatrical experience with that movie when I saw it in the theater. Any word of advice to you, unless they're really fucking cool, don't take your 7-year-old sister to see it. She rose a whole stink during that movie, specifically when he's trying to get the bug out of his heart. And my dad had to take my sister out of the theater. I think my youngest brother walked out as well. And then that left my other brother and myself just staying there watching the movie. And we're like, this fucking rules. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. And I think to this day, that is the reason why my sister refuses to ever watch an X-Men movie.
You know, I was just reminded, I don't know why, I just remembered something during the bullet train sequence that made me rewind the movie a couple times to make sure I was hearing it right. There's a scene where one of the Yakuza thugs is on the top of the train and they're in the window that's right above Madako, right?
Yeah.
And it cuts to a shot inside there and she's listening to music on her headphones. Did anyone fucking catch what goddamn song was playing?
No.
Because I rewinded it 3 times to make sure I heard it right. They are playing the Carpenters cover of Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft.
What the fuck?
What?
Yeah, no, that's the song that's playing.
That's a deep cut. That is.
Yeah, because like I was introduced to that song through the Tide of the Shadows video of the album it's on, and I become such a huge fan of it since. This is my first time watching the movie since hearing that song, so I like rewinded it a few times. I was like, am I fucking hearing this correctly? James Mangold, if you're watching this, text me. I wanna know the truth. Did you do it on purpose? My phone number is.
Go fuck yourself, pretty boy.
Text me, James Mangold. I want the truth. So because of that, I think that makes it the greatest movie of all time. All in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
I.
Glad we can agree.
Man, I think you just kicked the shit out of Logan.
Yeah, sorry, Logan, you don't have calling occupants of interplanetary craft.
So you brought up in your general review that it's basically the first time that we see like a vulnerable Wolverine, which is something that I was thinking about, which I think is something that makes this interesting as a movie. And there's a specific scene where he is getting all the arrows shot into his back, and he's walking and just slowly crashing down.
Great shot.
It's a fantastic shot. It also reminded me of episode 1 of the Venture Brothers, when all of the Monarch henchmen are shooting Brock Sampson with poisonous darts, and he chokes one of their henchmen to death. So if they make a live-action Venture Brothers, Hugh Jackman is Brock Sampson. Voiced by Patrick Warburton. Oh.
Are you guys interested in knowing 20th Century Fox's short list of 8 directors to direct the Wolverine?
Sure.
Let's go.
There was, I'm gonna get this wrong because I'm an idiot. Jose Padilla, who, let me just double check here, is probably best known for directing the RoboCop remake.
I was just about to ask, is that the
Off to a
RoboCop
great
remake
start.
guy?
Doug Liman.
No, Edge of Tomorrow. Nice.
Yep, so he'd be a great choice. He made Edge of Tomorrow instead, though, obviously. Correct choice.
Correct choice.
Antoine Fuqua.
Oh,
Am I saying that right?
Training
You did
Day.
say
I
that
always
correct.
Training
I
Day.
feel like I always get it right. Training Day, The Equalizer, and what they should have been called the Sequelizer and Threequalizer.
Fuck off.
Well, at least he produced the sequels. I don't know if he directed them.
No, he did direct them.
He did direct them. Thank you. Mark Romanek. You might know him best as the director of a bunch of music videos. But
Yep, that makes sense.
more specifically, 1 Hour Photo.
With Robin
go.
Williams. Neon Genesis
Genesis
Evangelion.
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 Justin Lin was on the
Okay.
short list, and I'll just say it right now, he would have made a fucking awesome Wolverine movie. It would have been a very different Wolverine movie, but he would have been awesome for it.
Wolverine just drifting donuts.
100%. Gavin O'Connor.
Okay.
He directed The Accountant and Warrior. Most recently directed Manchester by the Court. I mean, The Way Back. Gary Shore, who directed Dracula Untold. And as far as I can tell, the only other feature he's directed was a movie called Haunting of the Queen Mary that came out last year and has a 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb. That's great. And finally, James Mangold, who went on to direct it. And to that, I have to say, that might be the strangest shortlist of directors to direct a movie that takes place in Japan I've ever seen.
Akira Kurosawa. Narrowly did not make the list. Shame. Shame on our houses.
I'm just remembering this now, but one of the Thermians from Galaxy Quest is in Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
The Agent Smith guy, and specifically which Thermian he plays. He's the, but the animal is inside out. And it exploded.
Deadpool.
You should have said that in the movie.
Deadpool was supposed to have a coda scene where Beast is caught shitting on his lawn and he chases him with a newspaper. I think they should have left that in.
That would have been awesome.
Apparently, Nicholas Hoult contacted Miller and was like, yeah, I'm down to do it. But like Mission Impossible 7, Nick Hoult did not survive into the final cut.
All right, I think we've talked plenty about both of these movies, so let's wrap it up. And we're just going to get our final thoughts on both of these movies out of the way. Mr. Zweebelman, take us home.
If the Wolverine is the disease and Deadpool is the cure, then Logan is the big contract win and Deadpool 3 is the fucking retirement party. What a beautiful dance these two strange little men have been doing. Deadpool and Wolverine are the two men who have contributed the most to making superhero movies more interesting that aren't named Kevin Feige and Christopher Nolan. Back to you, Janner.
Janner, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll go with Janner. Tim, your final thoughts.
Had a good time revisiting both of these. I'm cautiously excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. Hope it still has some of the magic. Hope that they hired some gaffers in between the trailer and the actual cut.
Some bad news.
Tragic. Can't believe it. Hate to see it. But I'm looking forward to talking about that one in 2 weeks, because we're doing the Lion King episode we recorded a week ago next week. Back to you, Janner.
And we recorded that episode the day after something that doesn't seem that important anymore.
Yeah.
Truly.
While you're talking, Tanner, give us your final thoughts.
Deadpool, I'll start with that one. I think Deadpool is a really important movie. I think it helped create R-rated superhero movies as a viable concept. Something that hasn't really existed since the Blade movies. I think it's really funny. I think it's an awesome rom-com. I think the action sequences are really great, and I think it's important for that reason. And the Wolverine, while it's not as good as a movie, it has kind of a special place in my heart. It was one of only 2 movies I saw in theaters in 2013, which was the year before the year I started really being able to see movies in theaters a bunch. And I think the Wolverine ultimately enabled Mangold to later on make his magnum opus, a film about our aging hero getting back in the saddle one last time for a ride that could very well be for the death of him. So I'm really grateful that Wolverine allowed James Mangold to make Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Back to you, Joe.
You know, I kind of wish that Logan or the Wolverine ended with him time traveling back to Roman times. No, that's.
I wish Ford v Ferrari ended that way. That'd be fucking incredible.
Just Matt Damon and
7,000 RPM.
Just Matt Damon, Christian Bale in the car, and like Christian Bale just fucking floors it. The fuck are you doing? I'll tell you this: we're not going back to 1949. And just fucking takes them back to Roman times. All right, my final thoughts. Wolverine, definitely not the best one out of the movies that we're talking about today, but it's still a fun ride. Definitely worth checking out. There's a lot of fun stuff in it, a lot of good character stuff in it, and you got a fun bullet train fight out of it too. Deadpool is by far the better movie. Maybe not the most perfect representation of the character, but it's a good start if you've never gotten into Deadpool before, and it's a romping good time. And honestly, that movie walked so that Logan could slash. But you know who else can really fucking slash?
Who?
You! The person watching / listening to this episode of the show. Thank you oh so very much for watching and for listening to this episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. If you're on YouTube, go down into the comment section below. Let us know. Do you like the Wolverine? Do you like Deadpool? Are you excited for Deadpool or Wolverine? Is there anyone who could play either of these characters better? And how does it feel to be wrong? Comment below. Let us know while you're down there. Hit that like button so you know how much. So we know how much you like us. Hit that subscribe button so we know how much you love us, and hit the bell icon so you can be updated on when we upload new videos. Check out our Spotify. All of our podcasts are uploaded there too. Apple Music, we're all on there. Check out our Patreon. We're going to have a lot of cool tiers coming up, and if you donate to the $10 tier, if I remember correctly, $10 tier, right? All right, $10 tier, you get a special shout out from all of us, and as we've done for the last couple of them, it's Mr. Jason Secord. Thank you so much for being a patron. We love seeing you in the comments. We hope to see you in the comments for this one, buddy. Please. Big ol' heart for you. All right. Stay tuned for more episodes coming up. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming your way. We're very excited to be kind of back in the swing of things a little bit more. But until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Go fuck yourself, pretty boy.
I'm touching myself tonight.
I slid my ticket across the table and I said, "Sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl."